I bought a car in real life to see just how good the secret PS5 Pro update for GT7 in PSVR2 really is. So everyone who's a GT7 virtual reality player saying the PS5 Pro is a game changer. It is changing the smoothness, it's changing the resolution, sometimes people are saying, it's changing the optical sweet spot in the lens. So I had to get out and try it. And this is actually my car in real life. So I drive this car basically because I enjoy it in Gran Turismo so much. That's the real story as to why I have the Peugeot RCZ. And firstly, you can see 100% the detailing is incredibly accurate. Now I'm going to show you in this video a sort of journey of trying to see whether the PSVR2 really is better on PS5 Pro. But then a moment where it really clicks for me that I really do think it is better. And I'd love to get your opinion as well to see if you agree. But look at the detail in the lights down the right hand side. Absolutely insane. Almost feels more detailed than what I have in the real car. It's weird to explain like that, but you can get so close in PSVR2 and everything is pristine, whereas my car is just a little bit battered now. Unless you want to buy it, in which case it's absolutely brand new and runs like a dream. So what I decided to do was take this car to the Nordschleife and enter a race. And my first impressions, this is how you enter a race in PSVR2. You kind of zoom in here. I was like, this is really smooth. And you might have seen in some of the footage already that the PS5 Pro GT7 footage looks a lot smoother. And there's going to be even more examples of that. Now, obviously I had to reconnect my headset to the PS5 Pro. It did some more software updates. Look at the Peugeot logo on the wheel, by the way. I know this cockpit very well. I spend a lot of time in here, normally in traffic. But you can see some of the reflections. I think you are starting to see the difference. And I've got some comparison footage later. I've been trying to work out what is it exactly that is making everyone go, hang on, the game has changed with PSVR 2. Now, subconsciously, because virtual reality is a little bit like magic, when you think about it, it's pretty mad. Every slight movement your neck makes, the headset compensates for that movement exactly and shifts all of the pixels about 60, 90 or 120 frames a second. Now, we're going to talk about reprojection in this video, so if you're a hardcore PSVR 2 fan, don't worry, I'm talking about that. But I was feeling, you see, I was so annoyed at that BMW because, to explain this, I genuinely felt like I was real racing here. I was road car racing. I've done road car racing in real life. I know the sensation when you're overtaking another car and you're close like this and you want to get ahead of them. It's a slow process, but you don't want to make contact. And I was feeling that here. And I feel like there's much fewer frame drops. That's my hunch. There's much fewer frame drops. And therefore you, again, subconsciously have a much better experience and you're drawn into the magic. But I did see some downsides, some pretty big downsides that I am going to show you. Now, I had a very good battle here with the Mazda and the red BMW. Again, kind of getting acquainted with the space that I spend a lot of time in the real world. And it is pretty much one-to-one. You can see the dynamic foveated rendering if you look at the clock. Clock is blurry. So is the mini-map on the right-hand side because my eyes are not looking there. Some people are saying that the dynamic foveated rendering is actually better now in the PS5 Pro version. I'm not sure about that. I do remember early on they made an improvement to it on the PS5.
What are you doing, bro?
But they didn't let anyone know. They didn't say it specifically. It's like a ghost update. Look at this incredible generational overtake you're about to see here. If you enjoy this sort of racing, please make sure you subscribe. Look at that. It's like hacking in a Schumacher at Spa. Unbelievable. And then I crash because I'm just a little bit of a pleb. But then I save it because actually I know how to drive the Peugeot RCZ inside out. So I promised you some side by side. But again, look at the reflections.
What are you doing?
Of my race suit on the Peugeot logo on the steering wheel. You know, this is not ray tracing. There's no ray tracing in VR.
My God.
But those reflections are very, very, very impressive. And I just want to show you here how stable the PSVR 2 headset is in this connected to my PSVR Pro. It never used to be like this. If you saw videos in this replay mode, it was always much more kind of like moving around. They need to improve this mode, by the way. They need to let us walk around and be insane. Right. This may be the moment where you're like, okay, this has definitely been improved. Side-by-side footage, PS5 on the left, PS5 Pro on the right. Me driving in both. should be the same time of day, I believe. But in any event, it's a sunny time of day. Have a look at the reflections on the right hand side, both onto the wheel, but also on the glass of the dial. Please, please, please have a look at the reflection on the glass of the dial. See, I'm going that in depth because you can see the reflection of my race suit on those dials, and it's pretty insane. And I don't think you ever really get that on the left hand side on the PS5. So even the staunchest person who's like, there hasn't been any update to GT7, have a look at this. I mean, you can clearly see, if you know my logo, the K logo, you can see that reflected in the dial. I never see that on the left-hand side. And I don't think that would be, even if there's a subtle time of day difference, I don't think that'd be the case. Now, there is a small difference here, material difference, which is where I'm sitting in the cockpit. I think I'm sitting a little bit higher on the left-hand side. And that could make a bit of a difference. But I'd still expect to see some reflection. And I'm not seeing any reflection on the left-hand side. And I did notice this when I drove at Brands Hatch. And I feel like it's something that I would have picked up on the many times that I've been driving in PSVR2 before. So it just feels like more reflections. Again, the purple's coming through. We saw that in the Peugeot as well. So I wanted to try some different footage. Here we are in the sort of like, I think it's in Valencia, this place. And you can walk around the cars. Look how unstable it is on the left-hand side. For some reason, this is the same headset. It's way more stable on the right-hand side. I've no idea why. It was a big issue for me in PSVR2 that it kept losing tracking. But now it's a much more enjoyable. It's just contributing to in the enjoyment I'm having on the right-hand side. So I wanted to get into an open cockpit car again and actually, do some fast laps. So this is in the Super Formula. Should be the same car, I believe. Although, if you have a look, there's some arrows on the halo, and I'm not sure that's something that you can do in the livery. So, not quite sure what's going on there. There are the two Super Formulas, I think, with the two different engines from Honda and Toyota. But interesting here, I'm going to pause it and ask you if you see any differences. And please, keep your comments coming in, because there's so much insight from you guys and gals. So, I'm looking at the colours here. We're coming down this back straight where the Dunlop sign is. Going to pause it. Any differences you can see in clarity? I mean, some people are saying that there's better clarity. Looks like potentially a slightly different time of day. It's more misty on the left-hand side. But for me, pretty similar here. Like what I'm looking at, it's hard to pick stuff apart. Not sure I really want to pick stuff apart. And at speed, you're going to see here, I just clearly haven't learnt, by the way, in terms of how sensitive these Super Formula cars are. Because I spin on PS5, that was like, months ago, and then I spin again in PSVR2, so absolutely classic. But let me know what you think from this video. I went out and bought this car obviously years ago, predicting I was going to make this video, so please leave an Apple emoji if you've enjoyed the video. Check out these other ones here, and I will see you next time.